Over 90% of Viking River Cruise passengers unknowingly miss out on the best parts of their trip, not because they're unlucky, but because they don't know the secrets the crew will never share. From balconies that face walls instead of castles, to excursions that quietly change time, to wine served without the crowds, the difference is knowing what insiders know. In this video, I'll reveal the 15 Viking River Cruise secrets the crew won't tell you. Miss even one, and you could waste thousands, or waste the trip of a lifetime. Let's begin with the first secret, and it could literally change your view. Number 1. The silent rafting trap. River ports are tight. Viking longships often raft, docking side by side with other vessels. That means your dream view of castles or vineyards may vanish the moment another ship pulls up. Suddenly, your balcony opens onto a blank wall, or worse, a stranger's cabin window only feet away. Book a starboard side cabin on popular routes like the Rhine or Danube. Viking tends to prioritize rafting on the port side, giving starboard guests better odds of keeping their river panorama. It's not guaranteed, but it's the crew's quiet inside tip. One morning, a passenger threw open their curtains expecting vineyards and sunshine, only to lock eyes with another guest across a narrow gap. Their neighbor across the hall, though, watched a fishing village drift past in perfect silence. This isn't just luck, it's positioning. The side you choose can determine whether you wake up to centuries-old scenery or a wall of white steel. Number 2. The no announcement vow and app mandate. Unlike ocean cruises, Viking avoids PA announcements. No loud reminders. No voices booming over your wine glass. It creates serenity, but it also shifts all responsibility for timing onto you. Download and master the Viking Voyager app before you board. The printed schedule is outdated almost as soon as you receive it. The app is the only place for real-time changes, tour adjustments, delays, or early departures. A passenger leisurely enjoyed a latte, certain their tour left at 9:15 a.m. The app quietly updated it to 8:45 after river traffic forced adjustments. By the time they checked, the bus was gone. Others who refreshed the app were already inside a cathedral, listening to their guide. The crew won't warn you, and they're trained not to break the silence. To succeed on Viking, you need to be as digitally disciplined as the crew is discreet. Silence is luxury, but only if you adapt. Number 3. The hidden bar hour. Every evening, the Explorer's Lounge turns chaotic. From 5 to 7 p.m., nearly 200 guests crowd in for their free pre-dinner drinks. The elegant vibe fades into noise, lines, and empty seats that vanish fast. Skip the crowd. The lounge bar near the restaurant and the Aquavit terrace bar at the bow serve the exact same complimentary drinks with none of the congestion. Same staff, same selection, but a fraction of the traffic. At 6 p.m. sharp, one guest stood 10 minutes in line at Explorers, straining to be heard over the noise. Another walked to Aquavit, sat by a bow window, and sipped quietly while the Danube rolled past. Both had wine, but only one had peace. The difference isn't the drink, it's knowing the right bar at the right time. On Viking, true luxury isn't what you order, it's how you avoid the chaos. Number 4. The off-menu ordering hack. Viking's included beer and wine are reliable, but the real treasures aren't on the menu. The crew quietly prepares extras for those who know how to ask. Request a half bottle of premium wine at dinner. Waiters often agree because it prevents waste. For food, ask the Aquavit Terrace chef if they've created anything from that morning's port market. These experimental dishes never appear on menus, but insiders know they exist. On the Rhine, one guest skipped schnitzel and politely asked the chef if anything special was prepared. He smiled and revealed a creamy mushroom spätzle made with fresh local cream. It wasn't listed, but it became the highlight of their trip. The crew will never advertise this, but Viking's best flavors are hidden. Whether it's an upgraded vintage or a chef's market special, asking the right way unlocks the cruise's quiet culinary secrets. Number 5. The luggage and transfer VIP. For many travelers, the hardest part of cruising is simply arriving. Airports, bags, transfers, stress before the trip even begins. Viking knows this, and they've built their own solution. Book your international flights directly through Viking. It's not always the cheapest ticket, but the door-to-door transfer service is worth every dollar. From the moment you land, Viking staff tag your bags, claim them, and you won't touch them again until they're inside your stateroom. Independent travelers on the Rhine struggled through rain, dragging heavy suitcases up slick cobblestones. At the same moment, Viking guests stepped off a branded bus, keycards in hand, walking straight to their cabin. Their luggage was already waiting. That's Viking's quiet advantage, stress-free travel from plane to ship. You don't see it in the brochure, but once you've lived it, you'll never want to travel another way. Number 6. The stateroom size reality. Viking cabins are elegantly designed, but they're undeniably compact. A veranda stateroom averages just 205 square feet, efficient, but not spacious. First-timers often feel surprised by how quickly clutter takes over. Pack a set of magnetic hooks. The walls and doors are metal, and these hooks instantly add vertical storage for hats, maps, QuietVox devices, and even lightweight bags. Within minutes, your cabin shifts from cramped to comfortably organized. One couple arrived and felt frustrated as their suitcase dominated the walkway. But after unpacking and hanging jackets, cords, and day bags on magnetic hooks, the cabin felt twice as large. Their neighbors, who hadn't brought hooks, kept tripping over their luggage all week. Viking's cabins aren't about square footage, they're about efficiency. With a few inexpensive hacks, you'll feel like you doubled your living space. It's the difference between tolerating your cabin and actually enjoying it. Number 7. The secret balcony service. Officially, Viking offers no room service beyond breakfast. But experienced cruisers know there's a workaround for those who love a quiet snack on their veranda. Build a relationship with a lounge bar waiter. With a polite request and a small upfront tip, you can discreetly arrange for cheese plates, charcuterie, or light snacks to be delivered to your stateroom in the evenings. After a long day touring Vienna, one guest returned exhausted. Instead of changing for the lounge, they made a quick call to their favorite waiter. 15 minutes later, a small plate of cheeses and crackers appeared at their door. That evening, they enjoyed their own happy hour on the Danube, glass of wine in hand, river view unobstructed. It's not in the brochure, but the crew quietly accommodate those who ask. With respect and a generous tip, you can turn your veranda into your own private lounge. Number 8. The cabin vibration cure. Even on Viking's smooth longships, mechanical noise happens. Dockings at night bring low-frequency hums and vibrations, especially if you're near the aft engines or forward bow thrusters. Book a midship cabin on Deck 3. It sits above the restaurant and as far as possible from both engine and thrusters. Crew members quietly admit these are the calmest cabins for sensitive sleepers. On one Danube sailing, guests in aft cabins woke at 4 a.m. as the ship maneuvered into port. The vibration made it impossible to fall back asleep. Meanwhile, a couple in a midship cabin only heard a distant hum. They woke rested and ready for their morning tour. Where you sleep matters. On Viking, the right location can mean the difference between interrupted nights and restorative rest. Choose wisely, and you'll enjoy not just the scenery, but the sleep that keeps you energized for it. Number 9. The pillow menu. Viking's Explorer beds are designed for comfort, but pillows are deeply personal. That's why the crew keeps an unadvertised pillow menu, but only for guests who know to ask. Quietly request the pillow menu from your stateroom attendant. Options often include firmer foam, softer down, hypoallergenic synthetics, and even long body pillows for side sleepers. One guest endured a stiff neck after their first night, assuming there was no solution. On night 2, they asked their attendant, who replaced their standard pillow with a memory foam option for support. The following morning, they woke refreshed, finally able to enjoy their packed itinerary without soreness. It's not listed in any Viking brochure, but the crew knows sleep quality defines the trip. By asking, you unlock one of the simplest but most impactful Viking River Cruise secrets: sleeping like royalty on the rivers of Europe. Number 10. The tour guide priority. Not all local guides are equal. Some bring cities to life with stories and humor. Others read facts from a clipboard. Viking's program directors know exactly which guides are best, and there's a way to secure them. Book the earliest morning tour slot, often called the early risers departure. These groups are smaller, move faster, and nearly always get the most experienced guides. On a Danube sailing, one group departed at 8 a.m. Their guide, Klaus, not only explained cathedral architecture but shared personal memories of growing up in the square, weaving history into lived experience. Meanwhile, the 10 a.m. group trailed behind a newer guide who simply recited from notes. At dinner that night, passengers compared experiences, and it was clear the early birds had won the day. On Viking, it's not just about the included excursions. It's about knowing how to unlock the very best guides, and that means waking up early. Number 11. The walk-off freedom. One of Viking's greatest advantages over ocean cruising is the effortless way you step ashore. On big ships, passengers queue for security, ID scans, and long bottlenecks. Viking strips all of that away. Simply grab your key card and walk off. If your ship is rafted beside another, don't hesitate to stroll straight through the neighboring vessel's lobby and down their gangway. The crew expects it, and it's considered completely normal. In Budapest, one passenger braced for a half-hour wait to leave the ship. Instead, they flashed their card to a single crew member, crossed through another ship's carpeted lobby, and were standing on cobblestones within 60 seconds. Later, they shared their surprise with ocean cruising friends, who were still describing the agony of waiting for tender boats. That's Viking's magic. Stepping ashore feels like leaving a boutique hotel. No lines, no stress, just Europe right at your feet. Number 12. The QuietVox headphone upgrade. Every Viking tour includes a QuietVox audio device, so you can hear your guide clearly. Unfortunately, the included disposable earbuds are low quality, uncomfortable, tinny, and unreliable in noisy environments. Bring your own high-quality wired headphones with a 3.5mm jack, or pair a Bluetooth adapter like AirFly. Suddenly, your tours go from muffled to crystal clear. Inside a crowded cathedral, most passengers strain to catch fragments of their guide's words through crackling earbuds. One traveler, however, enjoyed crisp narration through their own noise-canceling earbuds, tuning out echoes and tourist chatter completely. They left with both the history and the atmosphere intact. This small, inexpensive upgrade solves one of the most common passenger complaints about river cruising. The crew won't tell you, but insiders know. Great tours start with great sound. Number 13. The Program Director's Stash. On a Viking River Cruise, guest services handles billing and logistics. But the Program Director? They're the ship's true fixer, with a quiet stash of essentials they can pull out in a pinch. During office hours, discreetly ask the Program Director for small solutions. They often have unlisted extras like European power adapters, stain remover pens, or even basic over-the-counter remedies. It's a private safety net for travelers in need. One guest spilled wine on their only evening sweater an hour before dinner. Guest services offered laundry for the next day. The Program Director reached under their desk, handed over a professional stain stick, and with a few dabs, the stain vanished. Dinner was saved. The Program Director's role isn't just coordination, it's problem-solving. For small but urgent needs, they're the crew's secret resource, and yours if you know to ask. Number 14. The Lock Day Window. One of the most dramatic moments on a Viking cruise is passing through Europe's giant river locks. It's an engineering marvel, but most passengers miss the best vantage point. Claim a spot on the bow of the sun deck at least 30 minutes early. It's the only place you'll see the ship's bow nearly scrape against the concrete walls as water rushes in or drains away. On the main Danube Canal, a traveler arrived early and leaned over the railing, watching as the walls of concrete closed around the ship. The ropes creaked, the water churned, and the vessel sank slowly before their eyes. When the rest of the passengers arrived at the scheduled time, they found themselves 3 rows deep, straining for a glimpse. A lock transit is one of Viking's most cinematic experiences. Insiders know, half an hour of patience delivers a once-in-a-lifetime view. Number 15. The Social Dining and Bring Your Own Perk. Dining on a Viking River Cruise isn't just about food, it's about connection. Unlike ocean cruises, Viking runs on open seating and communal tables. There are no assigned seats, no reservations, and very few tables for two. This design is intentional. It encourages guests to mix, mingle, and share stories. Most nights, you'll find yourself sitting with new companions, trading travel tips over wine. If you're more introverted, it can feel forced at first, but many guests say these dinners lead to unexpected friendships that become highlights of the trip. For privacy, your best bet is arriving early to the Aquavit Terrace, where the limited two top tables vanish quickly. Here's the bonus the crew won't advertise. You can bring your own wine, beer, or even local market food on board, with no corkage fees. Buy a bottle from a vineyard or grab cheese and bread from a village market, and the staff will happily serve it at dinner. One couple brought Riesling from a German port, paired it with a local cheese, and shared it at their table, instantly sparking conversation. Vikings dining is casual, social, and surprisingly flexible. If you embrace both the communal flow and the BYO freedom, you'll enjoy meals that feel less like a cruise line routine and more like dining with friends across Europe. So there you have it, 15 Viking River Cruise secrets the crew will never announce, but insiders rely on. From choosing the starboard side for better views, to upgrading your headphones, to sneaking snacks onto your balcony, these hacks transform a Viking sailing from pleasant to unforgettable. Some save you money, some reduce stress, and others unlock once-in-a-lifetime moments you'd never find in the brochure. The real question is, will you board like everyone else, or will you cruise like an insider who knows how to get the most out of every moment? Drop your favorite secret in the comments, or the one you wish you knew before your first Viking trip. You might save another traveler from making the same mistakes. And remember, Viking's best staterooms, tours, and insider perks sell out quickly. Wait too long, and you'll miss them. Until next time, pack light, sail smart, and enjoy the rivers of Europe the way insiders do.